And tonight on Long Island, new details about a horrific and deadly attack by a dog, a pit bull mauling and killing its 70-year-old owner. The attack left the responding officer who shot the dog so traumatized he had to be taken to the hospital. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einiger has new details.
As dusk enveloped this quiet Nassau County cul-de-sac, a place where children play on neatly manicured lawns, police and animal control officers heaved the body of a massive pit bull into the back of a county car. Cops say the dog mauled its 70-year-old owner to death and feasted on her body in her own backyard.
We just heard a bunch of commotion, helicopters flying. We don't know what was going on.
For hours, distraught family members stood at the end of Terrace Court as police investigated the gruesome scene discovered by the woman's own husband.
The husband arrived home around 1 o'clock. When he got home, he walked into the backyard. At that time, the dog was still eating on the body. The scene was pretty horrific. The dog had been, we don't know what time the attack took place, but there was obviously a lot of mutilation on the body and the arm, the face, the legs. He called 911. Our officers, the first officer on the scene, the dog turned on our officer. The officer fired at the dog.
The gentleman that lived right next door to me was telling me that he just heard gunshots, so we assumed someone got killed.
The animal was killed, and medics pronounced the woman dead too. The dog had belonged to one of the couple's sons, who died in a motorcycle accident earlier this month. And just weeks later, tonight, this family is dealing with yet another horrifying tragedy. As for the dog, it was 7 years old, but police say they'd never had any complaints about it until today, and they may never know why it attacked.
There you go. You basically watched 1 minute and 55 seconds of dog nutters campaigning to protect the image of dogs. That's all this was. This wasn't even really about sharing news or breaking story. That is why he finished the segment with that phrase, that we may never know why the dog attacked. It is time to cut that out. It's time to cut that out. Is there a logical reason why the dog would attack to where it would not only kill the woman, but start to eat her? Do you think you can just startle a dog and it reacts that way? Like, why are you investigating? What do you expect to find out? The nature of the attack tells you that the creature is simply bloodthirsty. It's a devil. An animal that attacks or bites because it's startled, it wouldn't attack like that. Dogs, especially pit bulls, when they attack, it's prolonged. The attack lasts until the victim is dead. Sometimes the pit bull will continue to eat the dead victim. If you can't pass laws to make these particular dogs, pit bulls, illegal, you know that there's a powerful entity behind the dog industry. This was a pretty ridiculous story. Okay? And as you can see in the actual article, they ended this article with the same phrase that the journalist did. Police say they don't know why the dog turned on the woman. Isn't that what they always say? After every attack, these people say nobody knows why the dog attacked. They claim to know why dogs attack, but they can never reference to it when an actual attack happens. You never hear people say, oh, it attacked because it was protecting its food. What type of reason or excuse is acceptable for a dog to mutilate, kill, and eat its owner? To talk about an investigation, that is offensive. And with this investigation, like I said before, they're going to ask the neighbors if they've had any complaints. You heard them at the end of this broadcast say that they've never had a complaint about this dog before. They're going to consider that in the investigation that decides whether or not the dog is put down. But yet, we're supposed to feel sorry for these things, right? We're supposed to have sympathy on them. You know, we're supposed to feel guilty when we pass by them. I saw this goofy, it's by the ASPCA. And this was dedicated to Pit Bull Awareness Day. It says, people walked past me in a shelter for nearly a year. And then they got this mutt that's supposed to look sad because it's been passed by so many times. This is how these mutants look while they are killing their owners. They look exactly like this. Soulless, spiritless demons is what they truly are. More than any other breed, bully breeds. These are demonic creatures in the flesh. There's no denying that. How could anybody deny it at this point? So this was a family dog, as they pointed out. Now they tried to say that the dog belonged to their son or stepson who had died. So I guess that was their way of trying to say, well, the dog didn't really know the lady. No, I don't buy that. They agreed to keep the dog. They obviously felt like they knew the dog and like the dog knew them. That's irrelevant. Dogs will get a new owner several times throughout their worthless life. The dog is expected to not attack any of them. And I don't want to hear nothing about, well, what if it's been abused? I'm not trying to hear that. They're always perfectly fine, well-mannered, good boys before they attack. So I don't want to hear this, oh, maybe something happened in its life early in its childhood. That doesn't work. These things are just demonic devils in the flesh that should be exterminated. It's really as simple as that. So yet another elderly person mauled to death by their own dog. Will we hear reports of people who want to adopt this dog? The way they did with the other dog. I wouldn't be surprised. Another example of why dogs deserve to be hated. Why would the dog eat the woman the same way these dogs eat their owners when their owners die inside their home? How much more proof do you need that dogs don't feel? They don't experience love. Like it or not, humans are unique. They're superior. Humans are superior, far superior to dogs. All other animals are superior to dogs. So humans, we're more superior to dogs than anything else is. That's just the facts. I don't care how much you want to try to push your dog off as a 2-year-old or whatever rhetoric you nutters say. Fact is, these things are not even as acceptable, functional as other animals of the earth. They don't live in harmony with life. That's a better way to put it. They don't live in harmony with life. Generally, you will not try to kill your food provider. Think about that. Dogs are obsessed with food. They're obsessed with food, yet they will kill their only provider of food because their drive to kill is just that strong. These things are nowhere near intelligent. They display the exact opposite of intelligence. Let's be honest here. You're obsessed with food, and they're willing to kill their only provider of food, their only source of food, just because they want to kill. People will eventually figure this out. Now, since we had a discussion about pit bulls, and I love to go in on pit bulls, let's get caught up a little bit on Pit Bull Victim Awareness YouTube channel. Hey, it's always good to get caught up. And let's examine true
playing with friends.
True pit bull behavior. True in all its glory. The videos you see on the dodo of a mutt in a bassinet playing around with music in the background, that's not the true nature of pit bulls.
Afternoon, playing with friends turns to tragedy for a family on Long Island. A pit bull suddenly mauls a 9-year-old girl. The attack only stopped when police shot and killed the dog. The young girl did not survive.
You know, these prolonged attacks strengthens your argument that dogs can't love, they can't feel. At no point do they feel remorse. The dog ate that lady. The dog was still eating her when the police showed up. It's not a temporary insanity where they black out and attack and don't know what they're doing. No, these attacks are prolonged. They never are hit with a feeling of guilt.
Tonight, friends, remember her vibrant personality. Eyewitness News reporter Lucy Yang is in Valley Stream. Lucy?
Well, Joe, it was quite an emotional scene here at the hospital tonight as family and friends left with a grim reality that doctors could not save their little girl, not after what she suffered in the jaws of a pit bull.
She was an angel on earth.
And that's how they will remember the precious 9-year-old girl who was mauled to death by a pit bull.
I just wish I could turn the time back. I really do. She was too sweet to go.
My granddaughter is 8 years old. Please don't ask me no questions. She's been through enough.
No, hold up. No, wait a minute. Wait a minute, brother. Slow your roll, chubby. Don't walk around like you got an attitude. Whose dogs was it? How many adults knew that these kids were around dogs? This sounds like a family thing where everybody knew the family dog. And everybody knew the kids were around these dogs. Don't act like you didn't do anything wrong. Don't act like you should not be in prison right now. All you adults, you orchestrated this murder. That's a fact. I mean, and it's focus. They know about pit bulls. They know they're dangerous. They go out, adopt them, buy them, whatever. Provide shelter, and dig this. The dog shelter is also the child shelter. You're gonna force kids to share a home with a pit bull? No, that's beyond reckless.
My granddaughter is 8 years old. Please don't ask me no questions. She's been through enough.
No. He said the child has been through enough. Who put her through it? Who made the decision to have pit bulls in the house and treat pit bulls like family? Who's the cause of her having been through enough? Don't act like it's the general public's fault, as if anybody did anything other than you, the adults.
3 little girls, including this one, were playing in the backyard of this Elmont home on Holland Avenue Sunday morning when a pit bull attacked one of the young girls.
Okay, so they were playing again. Unprovoked. Whenever kids are playing and they get attacked, these are unprovoked attacks. People, it's going to have to get to a point where especially pit bull owners, are forced out of communities. There has to come a point where people refuse to allow these people into their neighborhoods. Now, y'all heard about that old man. Here, we'll listen to it. I haven't played it yet. I'll play it here shortly. Another example of how entire communities are terrorized. That is what happens. You don't let your kids play outside. You know there's pit bulls in the neighborhood.
Witnesses say the dog latched onto her neck and head and shook her like a rag doll.
The woman in the house.
A 9-year-old. This is why you need a Pit Bull Attack Child Victim Awareness Week or month. Because nothing else, this dog clamped down on her head and shook her by her head. Kids don't get mutilated and tortured like this by anything other than dogs. This is a unique dynamic. We got powerful killers, powerful enough to kill adults, that prefer to kill babies and toddlers. Y'all don't think there should be strong awareness of this? And these pit bull owners, dog owners in general, need to be held up to a higher standard. They need to have constant pressure put onto them.
Went outside and attempted to pull the pit bull off the girl, but she could not do it. She called 911.
By the time police arrived, we're told 2 officers ran to the back while one went through the house to the rear.
The pit bull was distracted, came charging at the officer. She discharged her weapon.
Okay, well, look, man, look. Look at this whole scene, people. Horrific. So you're going to experience something like this 1 minute, and the next minute, you want to project dogs as harmless? You want to teach kids that dogs are their best friends? How does not work? There's no excuse. There's no reason why a creature like this should ever be projected as the best friend of kids. No. There are too many stories like this. Somebody needs to point this out.
She discharged her weapon, striking and killing the dog. This gave the officers that were in the rear yard time to get to the girl.
The victim was rushed to Franklin Hospital, but surgeons could not mend what the dog.
You idiots. And y'all want to produce 1,000 videos and photos of 9-year-olds alone with dogs. And you pit nutters. You pit nutters, more than anybody else, you get off on this. Leaving babies and toddlers alone with pit bulls. You get off on it. Y'all remember that video? That lady set her baby, it was like a baby, like a 1-year-old, in the middle of like 4 or 5 pit bulls. Grown pit bulls. That video went viral. All those types of videos go viral.
Dog had done. She was pronounced dead a few hours later.
It's hard. If I'm taking it so hard.
Meanwhile, the dog's owner, 29-year-old Carlisle Arnold, was arrested at the scene on a separate charge of violating an order of protection. Officials do not believe he was home at the time of the attack.
He was arrested for something else. He wasn't even arrested for the attack.
Seen on a separate charge of violating an order of protection.
Violated an order of protection. It's like, oh, you're under arrest for the dog attack? Oh, not for that. It's for something else. These people have given dogs, pit bulls, the green light to attack whoever, whenever. Humans simply don't have this type of freedom. We don't. It's not a case of whether or not the dog knows what it's doing. They know what dogs know what they're doing. And even if you argue that, oh, they don't know any better, well, that's exactly why they have no business in our territory. We should only trust humans. People expected to know better.
Officials do not believe he was home at the time of the attack. It's not clear if he could have pulled the dog off in time.
Why are you even in possession of these beasts? Huh? Stupid. You think you macho? You just deranged. That's all that's wrong. These people are just brain damaged. There's no reason to be in possession of one of these things. That is why he should have been arrested. And several other of these people responsible for having a 9-year-old around a pit bull.
It's not clear if he could have pulled the dog off in time.
And you see, he has a fence. These fences don't work with these pit bulls. And our laws and lawmakers say, oh, you have a fence, you're a responsible dog owner. Man, oh, now, these people have really gotten me started now. Here it is right here. I just watched this, and I was fired up.
In Opelousas, a 71-year-old man was attacked by a pit bull. He says before the attack...
Pit bull, pit bull, pit bull. Devil, devil, devil. Evil pit bull. It's for all you pit nutters. Vicious, inhumane, soulless, evil, bloodthirsty beasts. Nothing less. Nothing less than that. And I mean that. Nutters. That's all we should see when we look at pit bulls. These videos and movies, cartoons, they've distorted our view of reality.
He loved it.
And we need to turn it back. We need to fix it to where people see death when they look at pit bulls. That's the goal. People see a child predator when they look at pit bulls.
In Opelousas, a 71-year-old man was attacked by a pit bull. He says before the attack he loved dogs, but now he can't go near one.
Y'all hear that? Play that again.
He says before the attack he loved dogs, but now he can't go near one.
He can't go near one. He used to love dogs. Now he can't go near one. I'm going to try to reach out to this gentleman.
News 10's Jasmine Dean talked to the man as he recounts graphic details about the terrifying and brutal attack. This warning for you, you may find some of the pictures disturbing.
71-year-old George Davi was attacked by a pit bull in early April.
What was his name? Wait a minute.
By a pit bull in early April. He says the dog jumped a fence. 71-year-old George Davi was attacked.
George Dodley.
Attacked by a pit bull in early April. He says the dog jumped a fence he was walking by and bit his chin, leaving a gaping hole and lacerations on his arms.
Pit bull jumped over a fence and came at me.
Sorry about that, people. I want to write his name down. George Davi. Okay. George Davi. All right. Okay. Sorry about that.
Came towards me and I bent down to keep him off my legs. When I did that, he grabbed a hold of my chin and shook it and brought me to the ground.
After the attack, Davi says the only consequence the dog suffered was a 10-day quarantine in a shed of its residence.
Y'all hear that? You hear what happened to the pit bull? This was assault. Attempted murder. Did y'all hear what happened to the dog?
Suffered was a 10-day quarantine in a shed of its residence. Davi met
10-day quarantine
with the mayor of Opelousas regarding the attack and was told there was no...
And what did she say? A shed of its residence? What is that?
Says the only consequence the dog suffered was a 10-day quarantine in a shed of its residence. Davi met with the mayor of Opelousas regarding the attack and was told there was no place to put the dog and no one would put a healthy dog down.
Did y'all hear that? I hope y'all heard that. Let's listen again.
Quarantine in a shed of its residence. Davi met with the mayor of Opelousas regarding the attack and was told there was no place to put the dog and no one would put a healthy dog down.
He talked to the mayor. The mayor said that. The mayor said there's nowhere to put the dog and nobody is going to put a healthy dog down. This was assault and attempted murder. And the mayor said this to him. So this is legalized terrorism. With these pit bulls, all bully breeds, it's legalized terrorism. Nobody should be in possession of these things.
News 10 reached out to the mayor's office.
This man got a hole in his arm.
For a statement, but the mayor was unavailable. Davi says his concern is what would have happened if it were a child or someone who would not have known what to do.
What if it were a child? See, I don't like the way they say that. Because they say that as if that doesn't happen all the time. They say it as if it's rare for kids to be attacked by dogs. It's not rare. That's the majority of dog attacks. Let's stop talking dumb. See, this is why we need an awareness day. How many times we heard that? It's not the first time we've heard that. Where an attack victim said, hey, what if it was a child? What if it was a child? It's usually children. Usually. And flat out, what type of environment are you providing for them where they find themselves being tortured on a regular basis? And I mean a daily basis. what is it, like it's over 1,000 children need ER attention every single day. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. It's children all the time. This man sitting here, do y'all think I could have inflicted damage like this to some random person and nothing happened to me? They're talking about, oh, well, there's no room in the jail and nobody's going to want to put a good dog down. Wow.
News 10 reached out to the mayor's office for a statement, but the mayor was unavailable. Davy says his concern is what would have happened if it were a child or someone who would not have known what to do. Davy also says because of the attack, he no longer walks but drives everywhere because he is afraid.
Drives everywhere because he's afraid. He's traumatized. He has been terrorized in his own community. Listen to him.
Although he has had 13 stitches and still has some bruises, physically he feels fine, but mentally he still has nightmares.
It's not the physical stuff that's bothering me. It's the day-to-day mental stuff.
The day-to-day mental stuff. And you can tell this man is being honest. He's not being anti-pit bull. This is not one of those people who hate pit bulls. Doesn't come across to me that way. He does come across like someone who was a dog lover and who now genuinely is not.
Nightmares.
It's not the physical stuff that's bothering me. It's the day-to-day mental stuff.
In Opelousas, Jasmine Dean, KLFY, News 10.
Okay. Pit bulls are demonic creatures. It's irrefutable. Irrefutable. I don't want to hear nothing. Now, I think I reported on this. If I didn't, I know I planned on it.
At a local park. A woman says she was
Now, this happened recently. Y'all got to go subscribe to Pitbull Victim Awareness. When they first started uploading additional content or content on a regular basis, they sort of like got caught up on some of the big stories that happened over the years. But now they're keeping up with recent stories, right? Be sure to subscribe.
When 2 dogs went after her. A week later, she's still in the hospital. Channel 2's Candace McCowan, live now at Rex Park in Clayton County, where this all happened. And Candace, that victim has a warning for other people tonight.
George, she definitely does. She is in bad shape. This happened about 8 days ago.
Yeah, I did cover this story.
Been in the hospital ever since. She's had multiple surgeries and is expected to undergo several more, all after taking her weekly jog here at Rex Park.
Devastating.
A Clayton County woman found herself alone in Rex Park when she came face to face with 2 pit bulls.
Started to attack her. So they attacked her when she stood still. They attacked her when she tried to run. And eventually
attacked her when she stood still. So being a tree doesn't help you. Man, how many times these behaviorists have to be proven wrong?
I knocked her down.
The victim's sister not showing her face, trying to protect her privacy, but says the canines were out for blood.
They were going for her neck pretty much the entire time, so she fought. That's why the majority of her injuries are with her arms and fingers and things of that nature, because she fought with all her might.
The victim was running out of energy to fight and scream when thankfully a good Samaritan appeared with a stick, fighting the dogs off. More than a week later, she remains in an...
I know. Why were they attacking her? That's the question. These are all unprovoked attacks. They're all unprovoked. There needs to be greater awareness to that fact. There's really no such thing as a provoked dog attack. No such thing. Even when a child comes close to a dog and the dog attacks, I don't want to hear this, well, it's territory aggression. When dogs invade other people's territory all the time. Y'all remember that story I covered, I think recently, where that black female journalist had a discussion with I think it was an attack victim. And the dog walked up to her and stood right in front of her, facing her. And she started to rub on the dog's head. Dogs do that to dominate you. That's a display of when a dog just walks up to you and starts violating you, or just walks up to you, is very close to you and is staring at you, that's a display of dominance. And that's why a lot of people will start to rub on the dog. Let me show the dog that I'm not a threat. Because a lot of people feel threatened when dogs do that. And dogs, they're trying to threaten you. Because if you get close to them, oh, territorial aggression. Well, stay out of my territory. That's why I hate dogs. I would never go around dogs. I'm not tolerating that. Nothing or no one gonna just bully me around. Again, another reason why these things don't deserve anything from us other than extermination.
Appeared with a stick fighting the dogs off. More than a week later, she remains in an Atlanta area hospital, expected to be there for weeks with severe injuries to both of her arms and legs.
She's going to need reconstructive surgery.
We called Clayton County Police, who say they tracked down the two dogs and they've cited the owner. The victim facing a long road. More than a week later, she remains in an Atlanta area hospital so others can defend themselves.
If you are walking alone, make sure that you have some protection, and really try not to walk alone.
You see how dogs terrorize people? And people like this, don't get any recognition or consideration. Here, this woman, oh, now I got to carry something. Got to be worried about dogs. You heard this man, he don't even walk no more. He drives everywhere. He's traumatized. Thousands of people going through different things. These are killers. And yet, they feel like they can bring dogs around your kids without your permission anytime they want and teach kids the dogs are their best friends. No, that don't work. No, we're not just going to be hypocrites like that. You're going to get called out. Now, I haven't even listened to this yet.
This morning on the dog mauling involving a little girl from Vallejo. This morning, the girl's father is talking to ABC 7 News about the attack and his efforts to save his daughter. ABC 7 News reporter Amy Hollyfield is live with this story. Amy?
He had to stick his hand inside the pit bull's mouth, Eric, to save his daughter. He says he was definitely scared, but that love trumps fear, and he did save her. Here is a picture he shared with us.
Look, man, here we go again, where these goofballs want to turn this into a love story, a story of a hero. This is a story about failed laws, a failed culture, allowing something in our territory that we shouldn't. That's what every dog attack story is about. It's like, here, look at how stupid you humans are for projecting these things as angels sent from heaven. Look at how dumb you are. That's the story with every attack.
Here is a picture he shared with us of his 3-year-old daughter. This is Soraya. She is home from the hospital. She's going to be okay. She was even able to walk to the ambulance last night and was assuring her parents that everything was okay.
No, everything is not okay. Here we go again, people. Y'all follow the pattern here? They bend over backwards to try to project dog attack victims. Oh, they're back to normal. It's as if nothing ever happened.
Her dad says she was outside playing and the pit bull was out for a walk and that he was on a long leash and was able to get to Soraya and bite her. And he said,
Whoa. Was able to get to her and bite her? For what? For what? Unprovoked, as always. Now this looks like the owner. Who is this woman?
Her dad says she was outside playing and the pit bull was out for a walk and that he was on a long leash and was able to get to Soraya and bite her. And he says her whole head was inside the dog's mouth.
Part of her scalp is missing. She had it in braids, right, little plaits. And when the dog latched onto her plaits, right, and she tried to jerk away, the dog ripped her scalp. Her scalp just like...
Oh my God, why is this dude bucking his eyes, talking like he about to... Kyle, stop. Now ain't the time for performative arts, people. Now ain't the time to be acting. You get a camera on you and you, oh, let me overact. Well, if this ain't something that will make you be serious for once, nothing will. Nothing will. What in the world is this? Okay, wait a minute. I just had a strange pop-up here. See if I can get rid of it. This Windows update is so annoying. Okay. I don't know if y'all can see. Okay. Now I'm really having problems. Let's try this.
Part of her scalp is missing. She had it in braids, right, little plaits. And when the dog latched onto her plaits, right, and she tried to jerk away, the dog ripped her scalp. Her scalp just like, oh my God. Just to watch her, it's my daughter. Luckily,
how's his daughter? Oh my, whose dog was this? Whose dog was this? Did you know that your daughter was around a pit bull? I'm sorry, I can't accept this. I can't accept these excuses from these parents who know full well that their children are around pit bulls and who likely the ones who surrounded their child with a pit bull. And really, this guy comes off as somebody who knows that he should be arrested. He seems aware that he knows. A part of him seems relieved that he's not charged. I don't buy that. Okay, I'm having some strange technical difficulties here. And I don't know how to fix it. Oh, wow. I'm having serious problems. All right, people, we might have to cut this live stream short, unfortunately. Let me try something here. Maybe I can pull something off. But you get my point. When you look at the behavior of pit bulls, there's nothing else to pay attention to other than how violent they are. This is why these pit nutters bend over backwards to create these videos with this happy music in the background. It's because they know that the only reason for you to pay pit bulls any attention is when it comes to safety or a lack of safety. They know that people immediately, when they see a pit bull, they see an attack waiting to happen. And they're trying to get people away from that instinct. No, we have to strengthen that instinct. That is what you should. You should see a killer on sight. And you should reject anybody who wants to surround you or your family with a pit bull. This is why, look, It may seem harsh and anti-social, but when one of these people offer, or ask you, invite you into their home, you have to say no. Just flat out no. If you have to make up a reason, it is what it is. But most likely, if you're not a dog person, then you're allergic anyways. It's almost guaranteed you're allergic to dog dander. So you have to work it out. You cannot be friends with people who live with these things. That'll be the worst friend you've ever had. And really, we don't need neighbors like this. We don't need people in the community like this. We don't want people who own killers that are out of control. These dogs have control over their owners. If the dog spazzes out, there's a very slim chance these people will be able to control them. They know that they are making the community a safety hazard. They're fully aware of that, and they don't care. And it's time for people who care to take back over the community. All right, I don't know what is going on, but big shout out to everybody who's able to join me for this live stream. I'm still having technical difficulties. We Hate Dogs, Soda Pop in the building, Chef Mutt Meat, Star, Equator, all right. Big shout out to all of you. Gene, thank you all very much for sharing information and thoughts on these videos. Very powerful stuff. Kodiak, all right. Shout out to everybody. Wait a minute, Parasitic Mutant. Check out that name. Parasitic Mutant, shout out to you. Mysterious Dragon, Serena. And anybody I may have forgotten, I hope you have a safe, clean, dog-free day. And I hope to see you all on the next live stream as we continue with this crusade.